All right, welcome back, everyone. My name's David. This is History for the Ages, and I want to cover a fun topic, 5 fun facts about the Paleolithic era. And so when we talk about on my courses civilization, right? Civilization that exists for a few thousand years, before civilization ever began, we had this long period of time of pre-civilization. And it is during the pre-civilization period we had what we call the Paleolithic era. The word paleo simply means old. The word lithic means stone, hence the big stone you see here, Paleolithic, Old Stone Age. We have the Paleolithic, Mesolithic, the Neolithic. The Neolithic is the New Stone Age. I have a short video on that one as well that I hope you check out. And during this time period of the Paleolithic period, which occurred a long time ago, over 2 million years ago, there were important developments that without these developments, civilization never would have been able to begin. So I picked like 5 things that I think are interesting and fun to talk about. So here we go. So as I said, the Paleolithic period, this old Stone Age, goes back, over 2 million years. And during that period of time, eventually you get around 200,000 BC, the development of Homo sapiens, right? And of course, if you don't have Homo sapiens developing, we never have civilization. So that's pretty important development. Homo sapiens begin in Africa, around 200,000 BC, and then eventually will migrate across the globe. I have another point I'm going to talk about in terms of migration, actually, which also happens during the Paleolithic period. But number one, or number five, I should say, is Homo sapiens developing. Number four, spoken language. So this is important. At some point during the Paleolithic period, these Homo sapiens learn how to speak. Sometime between 150,000 and 50,000 BC, we were able to communicate with each other in this verbal manner. And while it seems so simple to us today, if you stop and you really ponder, what are we able to do or not be able to do without verbal communication, it's pretty significant. And so that's, number four in terms of an important development during the Paleolithic period. The third one I want to talk about is just how people moved around and their lifestyle during the Paleolithic period. And they were nomadic. Nomadic simply means wandering. The opposite would be sedentary, staying in one place. And they used basic stone tools. And so for the vast majority of Homo sapien existence, we're so used to just living in our homes or in our apartments or whatever. For the vast majority of time, we were just migrating, looking for food. We would travel in small groups, maybe 30, 40, 50 people, 60, 70 people maybe. You wouldn't want to go too large because it would be too hard to feed that big group of people. Too small would be unsafe. So you'd go around in these small groups, you use basic stone tools, and that's what we would do. Just go around hunting and gathering food. You run out of food in one place, you go to the next place. So that was the lifestyle. Again, it's not until you get towards the Neolithic period where you have something called the Neolithic Revolution. Again, the other video I have on that, where people learn how to stay in one place. It's actually pretty interesting to learn about how and when that happens. Number two is vital to just the spread of humanity across the globe and migration, and specifically through glaciation. So what is glaciation? Well, glaciation is just a fancy word for ice age. And there are multiple glaciation periods in the history of the globe, right? But around 30,000 BC, one of these glaciation periods created this landmass you can see on this map here called Beringia. And so if you recognize this, hopefully a lot of people recognize this, of course. This is Alaska, next to Alaska, Russia. And right in between, you have this water that today we call the Bering Strait. Well, during a glaciation period, the water level on the Earth's surface goes down, right? And as the water level goes down, because huge glaciers are being formed, there's a land bridge called Beringia that is formed between modern-day Russia and modern-day Alaska. So these Homo sapiens are able to migrate and move across, eventually coming to North America. So this is a pretty vital point. One of my big themes in a lot of my lectures is about early civilizations is geography and how geography impacts humanity. And that's true of civilization, but it's also true of pre-civilization. I always tell my students for all the technology we have and all the things we could do, Mother Nature wants to mess with us. Mother Nature can mess with us. And in terms of a glaciation period, it had a really big impact on migration. The number one point I like to talk about is I think pretty cool in the sense that even though during the Paleolithic period people were nomadic, people were walking around, people had only stone tools, they did manage to create art. And this is a great example of art, what we call the Venus of Willendorf. It dates back to about 30,000 BC. It's only about 4 or 5 inches in size, and you clearly look at it, and what are we looking at? It's a fertility image, and it tells us something about this Paleolithic period, because if you're a nomad, you have a few moments to sit down and create a piece of artwork, why is this the art you create? Well, the answer is, I think, obvious if you think about it. This is your ideal female figure of the time because you want your female figures to be able to survive childbirth, right? Think of childbirth today. Childbirth today, with again all the technology we have, is dangerous, is painful, is difficult. Now imagine childbirth with stone tools. And so just the survival rate of the mom and the baby would be incredibly low at this time period before history and pre-civilization, as we say, begins. And so this is really important in the sense of this is your ideal. This is what you want your women to look like so they could survive childbirth. And people would wear this kind of as a good luck charm. So those are 5 pretty cool things that I think are part of the Paleolithic period. Even though these things happened a long time ago, they're vital for the development of civilization. And one more little bonus clip I got for you here is this fun little cartoon. And I don't know if you could read this. It might be a little small for everyone on their screens. But it says, oh, look, this get better. Effing history. You even flunked something not happened yet. And it's a little kid going, duh, right? And his parents, and they're all upset with his grade. It's his report card there. But it's kind of funny, cute little history humor. It's true, but back then you didn't have that much history to study. So I always like to leave with something a little bit funny, I thought here. So anyway, so I hope you find that interesting. I do hope you get a chance to watch the Neolithic Revolution lecture as well, and all my other ones. So please do subscribe. I have some serious lectures, some fun lectures, all sorts of variety of material on this channel. So I do hope you enjoy it and you found that interesting. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.